Hi, and welcome to my beginner's tips and tricks video for Rimworld. I'm Icon, and this video will show you everything you need to start a game, build a functional base, and keep your people alive for an indefinite amount of time until either something really bad happens or you get too greedy. So let's get started. I'm going to run it down in the order of how things are coming, and the first thing, of course, is you have to found a new colony. I really advise the crash-landed start for every beginner because you get a very well-rounded amount of people and items alongside. Also, the starting technology is pretty good to begin with, so this is the easiest start. Everything down there gets harder, so I would strongly invite you to take this one. And it's not only easy, it's also one of the most fun starts in the game. I use it after I don't know how many years I played. Whatever. So next up is your storyteller. Seriously, there's no false or right decision here, especially not with the difficulty levels. Please choose them to your own liking. I'm not saying if you're new to this game, you should go for the peak. No. If you want to go blood and dust right away, you do that. And if you want to check out how things are working, you can also put up the custom game mode and check out how the configurations look like. You can here click through the difficulty levels to get a grip on how the difficulty levels work. But I give you a quick rundown here. Peaceful means only wild animals attack, and down here, well, the threats get harder and harder. If you don't want combat and if you want just to experience the game, peaceful is way to go. And if you want the combat elements, everything down to adventure story is still pretty okay to beat. Everything down here starts to be, from time to time, more challenging. We're going to start out with community builder here for whatever reason that is. The storytellers just reflect some kind of personality. Don't want to talk too much about it. There's all in the text. It's your flavor to decide. I'm going to go for commitment mode because that's what I like to do. Reload anytime mode versus commitment mode. Also very much a matter of taste. So when you create a world, you can just go for the standard settings. There's nothing much to pay attention there. Most of the customizations here are voluntary. And now you're in front of your big bad globe of planet. And I would always advise you to start with the temperate forest biome. This is one of the easiest biomes to play in because you have a pretty high amount of food available all the time of the year. You have medicine available, it just grows there in the ground. And it has the least challenges considering the environment. Be your own guest and pick other things if you want to. But the easiest and most balanced approach is the temperate forest. When you start out, always keep in mind that there are mountainous fields and also there are colonies on the map. The purple and the yellow people will trade with you to begin with, so you maybe want to put your colony in the vicinity of these people. The streets here will make your people travel faster, so maybe you want to live near a road as well. So in my scenario, I would really like to go there. There's one thing I want to pay attention to. I want to point out here. If there's a mountainous tile, sometimes they have caves. Be very careful with those because there are monsters in the cave which you have to kill first. So if you want to go for an easier experience, don't go for caves. The easiest tiles in my personal experiences are large and small hills. Flat tiles are pretty difficult from time to time. Some people love mountainous tiles for insane mountain bases. Your own preference. I'm going to start out with small hills here, and we're going to go for next. Here you can select your people. There's really only two things I want to advise a beginner to. Roll until you don't have any entry here in the incapable of section, and avoid permanent health injuries if you don't want to play around them. Like this guy had a bad back, this makes him move slower and such things. I would strongly advise you a clean slate, like, it's not that easy as you say. It's clean slate, like, well, scars are not that bad, are not that horrible, like this. You always should have some people with a certain construction value of at least 5 on your people. and the rest is just your own flavor. I personally love to have some people who are good at shooting or melee, something like that. I'm going to take one incapable person here. Take your time with trying around what you want to have. The most important things are that you have at least one person good at construction. And here, as you see, I have everything available. Those flames are only telling you how fast people learn something. So only because I don't have anybody with a passion for cooking or mining doesn't mean that I can't fulfill these jobs. So let's get started. We start here. And next screen will be the planet. With the preparations of a new game, you can do a lot there. I really tried to compress it as hard as I can because I want to keep this video as short as possible and as informative as possible. So next step, we're landing on the planet. These are our starting items and these are our starting people. First off, the first step I really like to do is to get into the architect menu, orders, right click onto the allow button, and then you can unforbid all items. So basically everything which was forbidden on the map is now able to be picked up. I don't have any clue why the game starts out with all your cargo being forbidden to begin with, but as long as this is X'd out, people can't pick it up. So with this thing you can just solve that problem without any problem. So this is your map, just looking like every average map. You will find your own ideas of how to build a base or where to build a base. I only have a few things I want to talk about. Always try to find some place which is easy to, well, defend. Like here, I immediately noticed that if I put up here a wall, and here a wall, and there a wall, I have immediately a square which is easy to defend. And the mountains give me a natural protection here. When you're selecting a place where you want to settle, always make sure that you have a look on the things in the mountains. Like here's some steel, here's even plasteel, a high-tech material we need later down the road. There are components in the mountain. So yeah, this is a very good starting point and we're going to use it. So as you see here, there are also some ruins we might be taking advantage of. So let's get started. I always start with one room where everybody will sleep to begin with. There's always a need for your people to have own rooms, but when I start out with the game, I rarely do that. To begin with, I go for wooden walls. Let's use the existing wall here, and this is going to be our first room. I'm going to add a door, and then we're going to go into the furniture spot. And for now, I'm going to just assign 3 sleeping spots. Yes, these people will sleep on the ground. They will pick up their sleeping spots on their own. And as you see here in the work table menu, you see who's assigned to what. This looks very confusing to begin with, but it's very simple actually. It only tells you who's doing which job. So you see here, Sky, everybody will do firefighting, everybody will be a patient, and so on. To begin with, I just want to make sure I have 2 constructors. That's good. And I have 1 person to cut plants and grow things. I have 1 cook. That's all nice and tidy. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can also turn over manual priorities. That's something I really love to do. Like here, I tell my people that construction is the most important thing to do. And they tell this guy that hauling is the most important thing to do. And then I'm going to make something like this. It's one of my basic approaches. 1 guy carries, 1 guy builds, and 1 guy chops trees. Very effective start. And next thing we need is a spot where we're going to drop all our things. So I really like to do another room, most likely right next to the first room, where I will put a zone to put down my things. So in Rimworld, you need to put down a zone where your people will know that things belong there. So you find it here in the zone menu, the stockpile zone, and then you can here drag and drop that. So a stockpile zone, once you have created it, is configured to accept everything except for chunks, that's this stuff, and corpses. So if you want to store corpses somewhere, you have to configure that manually. Right now, it's enough for me to have this spot here declared to accept all items, and let's just let them go forward. You can configure the speed here, and as you see here, people are carrying the wood and starting to build this place immediately. They're also having a little bit of the pukesies because of the crypto sleep they had when they were dropped down from the spaceship, but that's not that important. So as you notice here, my wood is already running out, so you can put up the order menu, and here you have all manner of orders you can put down. I'm going to select chop wood here and drag and drop it over those trees. As you notice here, some of these trees are not getting selected. That's because these trees are not grown far enough to be harvested for wood. If a tree is too small, it doesn't yield wood. And you see here, immediately Sky follows my grow and plant cut order and fetches up more wood for us. So hooray! Right now, John is chopping down the last of those trees because as soon as one room is enclosed with walls in Rimworld, your constructors will try to put a roof over it. But if you want to have a roof, you always need to have no trees there. Like trees are blocking the roofs. So there we go. And now we got the basics almost done. So this is, now we have a storage room and a place to sleep, but that's not all we need. We'll need a room or a place where we produce food, and we need a place where we store our food as well. And in Rimworld, you can do freezing or refrigerating much more. So I'm going to put up some more walls like here. And I'm going to put up some walls like here. Just check out if everything is going like I want it to. Yes. Alright, it'll make sense in a second if it doesn't yet. So I'm going to put in doors here. And now we're going to make it like that. As you see here, things are getting done, the roofs are getting done, and now the first two rooms are completed. My people are fetching new wood every time, and let's wait until these things are built completely. And then we're going to be soon done with our basics of everything. Oh, there's one thing you should always do before, after you start. I didn't do that yet. So give weapons to your people. Like here, I have only one person good with shooting. I give the rifle to the best shooter. The knife always into the hands of your best melee guy, and the pistol you get you can use to train people with. Where's the pistol? There's always a pistol. There. So the revolver fires quite quickly but quite inaccurate. So next step, I want to have beds, and so put them down here. And I can right click any thing in the game and order them to work there. They'll immediately stand up and do that, but keep in mind your people have needs, and Johns is not too happy about standing up in the middle of the night and having to work on that. So there's just one thing. I want to finish those beds because I don't want my poor guys to sleep on the ground. So with beds you can set owners, and let's do this. And now they're all lying down in their proper beds. Okay, so next step, I want somewhere to produce my food. I'm going to drop down a new stockpile zone, and that's going to be designated for food and food alone. So I want to put up a new storage, and first off I clear all to kick out all of the items I don't want to have, and then I'm going to the foods, enable everything there, and now I change the priority to preferred. That means first they will try to put food in here, and then they will try to put food in every container which has a lower priority. Very useful. So for the next step we need a stove. There's the electric stove and the fuel stove. Simple explanations. A fuel stove only takes wood, and you can cook your food with fire, and an electric stove needs electricity. We don't have electricity yet, but electricity is very simply done. You just put down here a wood fire generator, bang. Let's do rather 2 of them, or you choose the wind turbines. Wind turbines need to, let's show it right here, need to have no trees inside that white square, and they'll only produce power while there's wind, of course. Wind is quite random, and you can store power only in batteries, which you need to research first. So let's put down some power conduits. Power conduits are like cables, and they have some range, so you don't need to have the cable right next to the thing. So let's fetch up the materials, order John's to do it right away. And the next thing I'm going to put there is in the temperature area, the cooler. The cooler has a red and a blue side. Make sure that you put the blue side inside of the room, and that's where the cool air is aimed at, and the red side is where the hot output is aimed at. So with coolers you always have a heat and a cold side, a hot and a cold side. So I now have wood generators. They need to be refueled with wood every 3 days, and you see here 75 units of wood, and that's all it takes. So let's configure, let's finish that cooler. As you might have noticed, I already put down 2 coolers. That's because coolers have a maximum power they can cool. So next step, I'm going to put down the target temperature to -9 degrees, and that's that. And now this interior of the room will be frozen to -9 degrees, and every food put in there will be fresh for an indefinite amount of time. So there's only a few more things you need to be left on your own. That's a research table, a very, very important investment in any of your colonies. And this will enable me to do research. And at the electric stove, you can just put up a bill for cooking simple meals. The billing system is the basic system of producing things in Rimworld. And as you see here, you can either order to do something X times, do until you have a certain amount of something, or do it forever. With the simple meals, I like to do the double amount of simple meals, like I have people, like 6 in this scenario. And I'm going to configure it like do this until we have 6 of them. And you see here now they're getting frozen there, and that's how we do food. You can process everything into food, from berries to meat to whatever you can forage. To replenish your food stocks, and that's the last lesson, you can go over to the wildlife and kill things here. This number tells you how likely it is that the animal will go on revenge on you. Here you can assign automatic hunting. So let's say I want to hunt all the turkeys, and I'm going to order Sky to the hunting job into a high priority. So what happens now is Sky is heading out there and going for the turkey. I need one last thing and then we're done. I'm going to talk over a few things, but then I'm really going to get done. So Sky now goes out there and shoots down some turkey. But a dead turkey doesn't do anything on its own. You always have to make sure that in your freezer is a corpse enable thingy. You can decide for yourself if you want to store human-like corpses in there or not. I strongly advise you to forbid all rotten items, because you can't process rotten corpses anymore. And now we haul the turkey. And I put up a butcher table blueprint over there. So let's build that right away, because the butcher table is the spot where you can process any corpse you have killed. Let's do that. And let's build that. And here you can use your billing system again to butcher creatures. I like to do that forever. And if you want to include human butchery, you have to do that on your own. So you now have the butchering process. Every cook will butcher. Let's say Sky will be my main cook. Let's tell her to use this, and now she'll go over there and chop up the dead bird. And this will bring you meat and fur. You can kill basically everything in this game and pelt it and turn it into meat. This meat can be turned into food or eaten raw. Best processed. It's best consumed processed. And those leathers you can transform into clothing at the tailoring bench, and you can pick up those chunks and transform them with the building system into cut stones to build better walls with. And you can research new technologies with the research table. That's why I built one. You just select one technology you want to have, like geothermal power, then you research that. You always get a readout what you gain out of that, and then you can do this. The only thing you have to do is put up somebody with a high research priority. And with this knowledge, there's only one thing I need to do more, and that's the growing zone. Here you can also designate growing zones. Tell your people what they should grow there, like potatoes, and your people with the growing job will then sow out items, and that's also a way to sustain yourself. With these basics, you should be able to get a working colony down in no time. Make sure that your people have some recreational items to have fun with as well, and the rest is all practice and experience. Just experiment around, have fun with the game, and I hope I was able to help you a little bit. And if I forgot something, if you have any questions, down in the comments is exactly the place to get there. Leave a like on the video if you found it helpful. Leave a subscription on the channel if you like my content and want to see more. And of course, have a wonderful day and see you soon. Bye-bye.